Yeah, that's good actually. A couple more seconds, not long. All right, it's rolling.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we'll give our praises to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Ba'ashem
Ba'ashem,
Rakakwadash.
Rakakwadash. I'm honored to our elder pastor, Grace Millstone, who taught the truth and rule well. Peace, blessing, and salutation. I come out there, scatter abroad to the forefront of the earth, that is serving the truth and sincerity. To I say Shalom. These are my brothers from GMS Detroit. Come to another video in the spirit. And the topic of the video is going to be about Romans 11. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it.
Who you want to read?
Right.
Durat, yeah.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11 and 1, and it reads, I say then, how the Most High Yahweh cast away his people. Yahweh forbid, for I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Okay, and this is Paul speaking. This is him basically asking a question: how did Yahweh cast away his people? And he said, "How forbid." Why? Because at this time you had Jews, which are our people, were the Israelites that were living in the land, and they were basically not accepting at this time other southern tribes, which are Benjamin and Levi. They wasn't accepting them. They wasn't allowing them to come back to their nationality and to live the way that we were supposed to live. So
Justin too.
yeah, at the time, because the northern kingdom was already on the other side of the earth.
I'm saying you said Benjamin and Levi. Who was the other tribe?
Oh yeah, and Judah.
Yep.
Judah. Yeah, them as well. So this is Paul basically saying Yahweh forbid. You know, and then Paul said, "For I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham and the tribe of Benjamin." Just reiterating that he's not casting them away, that he's still dealing with them. Let me take a read.
The Most High Yahweh have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not what the scripture said of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the Most High Yahweh against Israel, saying,
Let me just speak on that. He said, Yahweh have not cast away his people, which he foreknew, because Yahweh Shemel Shah only know the children of Israel. So he's not going to cast them away.
Precept.
Right?
This is Psalms chapter 147. And
You said what?
this is Psalms 147. This is Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. He shewed his word.
No, you can get something better than that. Go to 1 Samuel 12 and 22.
Precept.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Amos,
Yep.
chapter 3 and verse 2.
There you go.
You only have I known of all families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So yeah, man, the Lord has only dealt with the nation of Israel. He hasn't dealt with any other nation the way, he's dealt with us. We're the only nation that he gave his laws, statutes, and commandments to, So the Lord is not going to cast us away.
Actually, that's good. He took care of it.
Okay.
It's good because
All right. You can go ahead.
verse 3, Romans 11 and 3. Heavenly Father,
Read 2 over it, then go 3.
this, verse 2, Most High Yahweh have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What the scripture said of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the Most High Yahweh against Israel, saying, Yahweh, they have killed thy prophets and dig down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
And this is Elijah speaking, and talking about how during his time period he felt like he was alone because at the time Jezebel was killing all the prophets. Okay, and also around this time you had, like I just mentioned, you had the Judites who were basically saying that they were the only tribe to be they were the only tribe left. They were trying to disregard the other tribes and saying they were the only ones left.
Verse 4, but what said the answer of the Most High Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men. We have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
So the Lord said he reserved to himself 7,000 men, and we understand that word 7 means completion. Okay, so the Lord has reserved himself a complete number of men that have not bowed down, which we understand to be the remnant, which is the elect.
Keep going, Doc.
Even so, then, at this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace then it is no more works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work.
So at the time, you had the Jews living in the land trying to obtain a salvation through the work, which is not possible because we're in these bodies. Okay, we can't. It's not possible to live up to the expectation that the Lord has set because we're in these bodies. Okay, so He gave us grace. He gave us mercy. So by grace, we're able to obtain that salvation. You can read, brother.
But then Israel have not attained it, that which he seeketh for, but the election have attained it. And the rest were blinded.
Yeah. So Israelites who knew you got
That was one. No, go ahead.
so Israelites that knew they were Israelites that are seeking for this seeking to obtain what this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, they weren't able to obtain it. Only the elect, only who the Lord who chose for himself to obtain this salvation.
Precept.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 7. And it says, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils. And ye shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So yeah, the Lord is going to preserve the elect, from that destruction and judgment that He is going to bring upon the earth, and the rest of our people, they're pretty much blinded because that in this particular time that we're in, the Lord is only dealing with the elect. He isn't dealing with the whole nation. He isn't going to save the entire nation of Israel like He did during the time of Exodus,
In this chapter specifically destroys that whole notion that the Heavenly Father got rid of Israel because Christians like to say, well, the Lord went up to the heathens because He cast off Israel. But Paul said, otherwise, the Heavenly Father never completely cast off His people, and it was always set up for them to return.
John, and then just back what the brother just brought out. We have faith, but it's not only by faith that we're granted salvation. It also works too. So faith and works go hand in hand. You can tell everybody.
Verse 8, according as it is written, the Most High Yahweh have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day.
So until this day, so in the time of Paul, all the way up until today, you can still see that on Jake. That they have the spirit of slumber.
You got it.
That they can't see or understand these scriptures or understand these words.
The verse that Paul is quoting here in verse 8, the scripture. Does anybody know where it's at?
Is it Mark?
No. He's huh? Isaiah what?
6,
Grab it.
Isaiah 6:9, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see their eyes with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed.
Yep, break it down.
And it's been made a snare to them because it wasn't for them, it was for the elect. To get the mysteries of the Holy Scriptures.
And
when other nations' eyes were blinded to them, because it's just only for the elect.
And is there a verse to prove that? The fact that the mysteries was only given to the elect? And that's for anybody. Anybody can grab it. That's good off that, Duroc. So just proving that, grabbing where Paul was getting that from, because he got it out of the Old Testament. What you got?
I was gonna say something. So Mark 8 and what's this? 8 and 18. 8 and 17 through 18. I read it. Mark 8 and 17 says, and when Yahushua knew it, he said unto them, why reason ye? Because ye have no bread, perceive ye not yet, neither understand, have your heart yet hardened. He said in this 18, this was what I was going to grab. It says, having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not, and do ye not remember? Is that?
No. It's going to the.
That's that's something else.
It comes from Isaiah originally,
Oh,
but he
okay.
was talking. He was dealing with the apostles. This is dealing when he was telling them to be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees. So that don't go good. The original prophecy came from Isaiah. The fact that Jake would hear the prophets and see them, but the Spirit isn't given to them to understand. So Paul's reiterating that here in Romans 11th chapter. Who found a verse?
I got
What you got?
Romans 11 and 9.
No, that's in the same chapter. A verse showing that only the elect is going to understand. Anybody can grab it. There's a good one in Matthew that should ring bells.
What
What you got?
13.
I
Nabla?
got Mark, but I ain't got Matthew.
Somebody said Matthew what?
13.
Matthew 13 or what?
13.
Matthew's 13 and 10.
13 to 10. Yep.
Uh,
10 through 11. Read.
this is St. Matthew 13:10. And it reads, and the disciples came and said to him, why speakest thou to them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
Yeah.
For whosoever
That's
hath-
good. That's good. Yeah. So that just to show you to prove who it's for. Back in that Romans.
Romans 11 and 8.
Verse 9.
Romans 11 and 9. And David said, let that table be made a snare and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them.
And when I was watching Apostle Ramla talk about this verse, he said that table is basically where they used to do their offerings at. So that was basically made a snare and a trap unto them, a stumbling block.
Keep going, Durant.
Verse 10.
Let me read this real quick. This is Psalm 63. This is what David was saying. Psalm 63, 20. Psalm 69 and 22.
Damn. I was gonna have them. Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
I was gonna say that Paul, once again, he's quoting out of the Old Testament. So where did he get that from? So Ariel's getting the words of David himself. You got it, bro.
Psalm 69 and 22.
Yeah.
Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it
You got
become a
verses?
trap. Which is what? The sacrifice. The Heavenly Father made it become a trap and a snare unto them, because there was a better way presented unto them,
That's
which
what
was
he's reading.
Yahushua, which they never accepted. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continuously to shake, because they were never meant to get it. That's why even John the Baptist told them basically who has warned you to flee from the wrath to come. They were rejected of the Heavenly Father, and not all of them didn't believe. There's just a bulk of them that didn't believe. Verse 24: Pour out thy indignation upon them, and let thy wrath, anger take hold of them. And then what happened? Eventually, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, sent 70 AD through and destroyed them wickedness. And a lot of the righteous actually escaped. A lot of them flee in the Atlas Mountains towards the western coast of Africa and towards parts of Europe, Spain, those areas, and actually were delivered from the destruction that came.
Nabla.
Read
Where he left off at verse 10?
10.
Okay.
Romans 11 and 10. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled, that they should fall? Yahweh forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation has come into the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
So right here, Paul said, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? No. So since the Jews that were living in the land, they fell away, but they didn't fall, so they didn't go off so they can fall. It wasn't for them just to be casted away. It was for salvation to be granted unto the Gentiles, who are the Israelite foreigners.
Precept. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, and I'll start at verse 16. They provoke him to jealousy with strange gods and with abominations. Provoke them to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not unto Yahweh, to to gods whom they knew not, and new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. And basically goes to show that the Jakes back then was sacrificed unto idols, and it was making Yahweh Bashir mad. So that jealousy that they had, well, it was prophesied back in the Old Testament that the Lord's gonna have make Judah, Benjamin, Levi jealous because he's gonna bring Israelite foreigners and preach unto the Gentiles.
You in the same chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Let him finish that verse in Romans. Then you can come back and get it.
Okay.
Yeah, let when you got a scripture you know go good. Let the brothers get the verse first. Then you
I jumped the gun.
yeah, you jump the gun. Don't waste your preload. Let them get it first. So let Duroc get that verse again.
Verse Romans 11 and
11.
11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yahweh forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
Yeah, so from the Jews who knew they were Israelites, from them falling, what happened? It says salvation was coming to the Gentiles. Okay, so the Israelite foreigners who were living in other lands, who were following after other gods, they was able to get grafted in, and we're gonna get that when we continue to read. And in that, from that happening, it provoked them to jealousy. The ones who knew they were Israelites, because like you said in the beginning, they was trying to basically neglect them.
Well, what happened? Why were they trying to neglect them?
Because they felt that the Judites were only the chosen tribe that the Lord was dealing with.
It's a little bit.
Not just you had the 3 tribes still there. It wasn't just Judah, but the Southern Kingdom, bro. So you use the term Southern Kingdom.
And the reason they were refusing them is because of the time of Maccabees.
Mm-hmm.
Because they,
First Maccabees one.
yeah.
I got that too.
Okay, hold, you don't have to get it yet. But that's the reason this whole wild idolatry became a part is because of the time of Maccabees. That really started the separation, because some Jakes kept the ways of the Heavenly Father and some didn't. But those that didn't were allowed to be accepted back by Yahweh Shai, because at the end of the day they're still Israelites. They just didn't know. They were those that left and fell off children, and when they were being rejected, like, the fuck is going on here? And they were accepting the knowledge of Yahweh Shai, and they understood and believed it. But the Jews in the Holy Land fought for righteousness. Some are just straight wicked. Some are just wicked niggas. But some of the Jews, because he said the devout ones. Some of the, let me actually grab that. Go ahead, I'm gonna find it.
Mayan, you got a precept? Okay, just remind Nabla. He said what?
Or it said the Jews.
The ones that fought?
Yeah.
I got you. Nabla, do you think?
That's first Maccabees.
Because if you get there, read it.
No, it's not Maccabees, it's Acts.
Oh, okay.
That's what, let's just think it's Acts 25. Go ahead, Bob.
You can read verse 12.
Romans 11 and 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their affordance?
So what is those riches? Those riches is his wisdom and knowledge. Okay, and when it says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, you got to go into the words. Okay, that's something that us being here in GMS that we do. We get into the looking up of words. So when you click on that verse and you look up that word world, the word there is cosmos. Okay, and that's dealing with a particular group of people. Okay, when you read some of the outline biblical usage, the first one says an apt and harmonious arrangement or constitution, order of government. So when you look at that word arrangement, who did the Lord make an arrangement with? The Lord only made an arrangement with the children of Israel. Okay, so that's how you can show that this is only talking about the children of Israel and it's only talking about the Israelites. That is not talking about the whole world.
Verse 13.
And it says, in the diminished him, it says, I'm going to read it again, it says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fulfillment. So since basically the Jews fell, like then again, it's just reiterating the point that the Gentiles were granted to salvation. They was able to come back and learn the words
By way of who?
by way of Paul.
Above Paul.
Oh, yeah, how was shot?
Yahweh Shai. Yeah. Now Kazakh. Now would be a good time to have squeezed that Deuteronomy in. The novel. Don't forget about my own.
Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, in verse.
Start right at it.
This verse 21. Actually, yeah, verse 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not a God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with these which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with their foolish nation. And yeah, those not a people, those are Israelite foreigners. So Israelites that didn't know there was Israelites, and like in the time of Maccabees, a lot of those Israelites removed themselves from the custom. But Paul, he was teaching unto those Israelites that didn't know there was Israelites at that time. So, and it's prophesied in the Old Testament as well. That's it.
I got your precept.
Yeah, this is Acts 13 and 45. It says, but I'm gonna get this right to the point. It says, but when the Jews saw the multitude, they were filled with envy, and spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, just conciting and blaspheming. So basically, brothers were talking about, man. They was Jews was mad, man. They was pissed off because those Gentiles, they got accepted, man. They was mad about that. Okay, that's it.
You still grabbing that hurry up.
I just sent it to you right now. At this very second, it should be loading.
Yeah, this is it.
Yep, 21:27.
This is Acts 21 and verse 27. It says that when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him, crying out, men of Israel, help.
20 minutes left. That's a lot.
This is the man that teaches all men everywhere against the people and the law and this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple, and have plotted and polluted this holy place. For they had been seen before with him in the city of Thermopylae and in Ephesians, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. And these were Israelites that were being brought back. But you had certain Jews that were moved to jealousy. They were moved to wrath against those Gentiles because they looked at them as traitors.
I'm sorry, brother. You said Trophimus. You said Thermopylae is Battle of Nike. Yeah, Trophimus. Yeah. But you got it.
Trifling.
And that I'm just looking at that word Greeks there. That word Greeks there. G1672.
That's 300.
Yeah, Battle of 300. It's the word there, Ellen or Helen. It says a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. All right, and the second definition, they giving that bullshit, but we know it's the Grecians, the Jake Israelites, who took on Greek as their custom.
And that's why they were moved to wrath, because they were being accepted. That goes to 2nd Ezra 2 and verse 31. Says that the Lord is going to go into the heathens, which those heathens were Israelite foreigners.
Back to y'all. Yeah. Wherever Duroc left off.
Verse 13.
Romans 11 and 13. For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office.
So this was how Paul magnified his office, because he was sent to who? He was sent to the Gentiles to speak unto them, to bring them back. And can a brother grab Galatians 2 and 8?
I'll grab that. It's Galatians chapter 2, verse 8. It says, for that, what was it, raw affectionate,
Yeah.
affectionately, effectually, and Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles.
So there you go. Peter was for the ones under circumcision, were the ones who knew that they were the Israelites. But Paul was sent into the Gentiles, the one who went off, that he was bringing back.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, he didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to teach the, Jews, not the Gentiles. Okay? He wanted he wanted to teach them. No.
It wasn't necessarily that, brother. Peter didn't have he didn't speak Greek, so he couldn't have taught the Gentiles
Paul
anyway.
was equipped
Yeah,
because he
Paul's
was,
equipped. He could speak multiple languages.
He was equipped with the languages and the thing, how they was running stuff, as far as like their the gangs they used to be like.
He knew how to deal with them
Yeah,
because there was an instance Peter was dealing with the Gentiles, but then when the Jews showed up, he got up and dipped because he didn't want to come off as dealing with the polluted. That was Galatians 2. That further down in verse 11, he gives that instance where Paul had to get on him because he was playing. What's that phrase, Jake? He was being two faced. Yeah, fugazi. He's being two faced, pancakey. But he just Paul. Yeah, that wasn't his lie. It was Paul's lie.
The Lord said specifically that
it wasn't a thing of hatred. Like, oh, get them. Don't have them up around here though.
Yeah.
It wasn't his lie.
it wasn't his lie. Ananias told him, "Look, you were meant to bring." The Lord told Ananias that this man is to bring.
It says what he's going to preach to many kings, the children of Israel, and the Gentiles.
Yeah, that was his job. It wasn't really Peter's position, even though the vision was given unto Peter through Acts the 10th chapter.
Peter was dealing with them hard head niggas, them law niggas,
It was given more.
or brothers, I'll say,
Yeah.
brothers and sisters. You got another law.
Verse 14.
Verse 14, Romans 11 and 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are of my flesh, and might save some of them.
So when you go into that word emulation, he goes into like imitating. I'm gonna grab that real quick. The word there is Strong's G 3863. Parazalo. When you look at the outline biblical usage, it says to provoke to jealousy or rivalry, to provoke or to anger. But sometimes you just have to look words straight up. So when you go to the dictionary and type it in,
Do you got anything else?
I got it.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Dictionary, Oxford language, it says emulation, effort to match or surpass a person or achievement, typically by imitation.
Basically to match. So he was saying if he was able to provoke them to match what he was doing, to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and to come back and to start following the ways of the Israelites, then that'll be a good thing. You continue, brother.
Verse 15, but if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
And can a brother grab Proverbs 21 and 16?
You got it. This problem.
I'm sorry, real quick. Nabla, just at least get to verse 21.
21?
Yep.
Okay.
Because that'll cover. Try to at least get to verse 21. Maya.
This Proverbs, you said 21, 16?
Mm-hmm.
21 verse 16, and it reads, it says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
And that's what happened. You know, you had the ones that, you had Israelites that was Israelite foreigners that they went out the way of understanding, so it was in the congregation of the dead. But when Paul went into them and spoke these words into them, they was able to get brought back. You got it, brother.
15 verse,
16.
16 verse, for if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
Who are those first fruits? So we understand that the first fruits are the elect, but in this verse, the first fruits is talking about those Jews that were living in the land. Okay, they were the first fruits because they was actually Israelites are being talked about in this verse.
Verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree.
Yeah, so those branches are broken off are the Jews who were living in the land that had lack of unbelief. They didn't believe. Okay? So with them being broken off, what happened? Not allowed there's like foreigners to be grafted in. Who was that wild olive tree? Okay, because the reason they're called a wild olive tree because they had a wild way of thinking. Okay, because they were following the ways of the heathens. You got it, brother.
Verse 19.
18.
18. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
Yeah.
But the root thee.
He said boast not against them branches. So basically talking to those Israelite foreigners that were brought back. How you gonna boast against the branches, their original branches, okay? Because they were already in the land doing right. They just fell off. So don't boast against them because you got grafted back in. You can't boast against the people that are originally doing the things that you're trying to do now. You got it, brother.
Verse 19. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
There you go. Just further backing up the point. You got it.
Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear.
Yeah. So there you go. They stand this by faith. By faith, they're able to get brought back in, not by the works. Okay, and that cuts with a lot of these camps try to push today. Try to push saying that, especially IUIC, they pushing a law that you gotta follow the law. Follow the law. It's not possible us to follow the law in these bodies. Okay, that's why we were given grace and we're given mercy from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay.
Verse 11 and 21. For if the Most High Yahweh spare not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee.
So he didn't. If he's sparing the natural branches, okay, well, how much more are you?
Behold, therefore the goodness and severity of the Most High Yahweh on them which fell severely.
Nabala, get that word. I found it already. Get that word. What verse is he at?
22.
22. Okay, get the word branches. Look at what that word is in Greek.
21.
You can get it in 17, or you can get it. Just get the word branches. It should be in any one of them.
This is the word branches. Strong's G 2798. It's clodos. It says a young tending shoot.
Tender shoot.
Tender shoot, so like it. Broken off for grafting. A branch.
Keep going.
As the Jewish
Patriarchs
are likened to a root, so their posterity are likened to branches.
Posterity.
Posterity are
Meaning
likened to branches.
their children, their descendants. So that branch there that is referring to, this is referring to the Israelites. They're from the same tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from the same tree.
There's another word. I'm looking. There's a. Keep going. There's the word scion as well.
Yeah.
You got it?
I don't got it, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Have him. He can have him keep reading. But if you get it, then just have somebody grab it for you.
For if the Most High Yahweh spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee. Verse 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of the Most High Yahweh.
Yahweh, to break these verses down while Nabala's looking for it. Durak, start over.
Verse Romans 11 and 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of the Most High Yahweh on them which fell severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
Read it one more time.
Verse 22, Romans 11 and 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of the Most High Yahweh on them which fell severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shall be cast out.
Yeah, so if you don't continue in this work also, you're gonna be cut off. You're gonna be cut off even though you've been brought back, you're gonna be casted away. Just like the others. The others were casted off or cut off because what? They didn't continue in the doctrine of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Shai. Keep going.
And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For the Most High Yahweh is able to graft them in again.
Yeah. So the Lord is able to graft in those that were at a time unbelieving will return unto him. Go ahead.
For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these?
It's the word graft, Nabla. I'm sorry. Just look up the Greek word for graft. Any one of them.
Okay. I thought so.
Durak.
Which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree.
It is all dealing with the children of Israel, the ones that were so-called doing good, and the ones that were at a time going off. The Lord was accepting them back in and grafting them back in. This has nothing to do with heathens being grafted in to the nation of Israel or being a part of this. Is all dealing with the children of Israel, those that believed and those that did not believe for a time and repented and came back through Yahushua.
Yeah. Durak, you're done reading. Get that, Nabla, get that word grafted.
Yep.
And then have somebody get scion out of etymology.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Oh, yeah, what you about to say?
Jeremiah, where it says, planted the
Mm-hmm.
a green. I call thy name a green olive tree. And then somebody get Jeremiah 2. It says, how is thou become a degenerate plant unto
2 and 21.
Yeah, 2 and 20, and I think Jeremiah 11 and 14
Mm-hmm.
through 17 is what you're looking for as far as the green olive tree. I got the word grafted. This is Strong's G 1461. It's in Kindrizo. If I said that right.
Ed Kendrizo.
In Kindrizo. It's the outline biblical usage. It says to cut into for the sake of inserting a scion to inoculate and graft in.
So now, what's a scion?
I got in the etymology, it reads, scion, a shoot or twig, especially one for grafting. Also figurative, from old French scion, descendant, shoot, twig, offspring.
That's
Modern
good.
French.
That's good.
Yeah,
So put it all together, Nabla.
so a scion is basically a twig that's it has to be from the same tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for it to be grafted in, it has to be a twig from the same tree, and you will connect it to the original, what are those natural branches, so it can grow together. And that's the same thing that's going on over here. Okay, Paul basically went to the Israelite foreigners and grafted them in with those natural branches, which are the Israelites that were already living in that land.
Who got that, Jeremiah? That's a phone. Yep, Yehuda.
Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21. It says, yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? So, pretty much what the brothers were saying, because we fell away as a nation, the nations were split, and you had certain of our people that pretty much took after the customs of the heathens, like the Greeks and Romans. That's why pretty much the Jews were angry, because they were being brought back in, because they're still Israelites, they're still of that bloodline.
Who had the other Jeremiah? Then we'll end with that. The other one where it mentions green olive tree. That area I call for. Type in green and olive, it should pop up in the Old Testament.
Jeremiah 11 and 16.
Read it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 16. The Lord Yahweh called thy name a green olive tree, fair and goodly fruit, which the noise of a great tumult he hath kindled fire upon it, and the benches thereof are broken.
Yeah, so where it says that the Lord called our name a green olive tree, fair and a good and goodly fruit. We were good. Okay, the Lord was happy with us at a point in time because we were doing what we were supposed to do. We was following out the laws, statutes, commandments. But then what? Then you had Jake that went off, man. You got Jake that started following the other nations. Start following after their customs of life. So that kindled a fire in the Lord's eyes, and what? Some branches have to be broken off.
Precept. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse.
That's good. That Jeremiah was the last one.
Okay.
Unless is it about the?
Yeah, because it was
Don't
saying
grab
how.
Yeah, that's it, bro. That's it.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Our Lord willing, this video was edifying. We're gonna close out by giving our praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash.